Welcome. Today we're gonna do a fade with number 1 without making any lines. The top, we're gonna do it with scissors. We're gonna start the haircut. We're gonna use number 8 with a close blade, and we're gonna use the technique trapping the hair with the finger to cut it with the clipper. This way, blending the hair on top is gonna be easier at the end. Then use number 8 in a free way and continue using this technique in the crown. We're gonna use number 5 a bit lower than we use number 8, and we're only gonna use the border of the guard. We also can use the technique trapping the hair with the finger to cut it with the clippers also on the crown. Continue with number 4 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 5. We're gonna use number 3 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 4. Cut in a vertical position, avoiding cutting more than you need in the crown area. We're gonna use number 2 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 3. We have a shadow left here. We can clear it with the border of the guard. Continue with 1.5 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 2. After cutting the excess of hair, we're gonna use the border of the guard to clear the darker areas. Continue with number 1 with an open blade a bit lower than we used 1.5. We're only gonna clear the darker area with the border of the guard. Use number 1 with a close blade a bit lower than we use it with an open blade. Also cut the rest of the hair on the bottom. Here there's some shadow left. We're gonna use number 1 with an open blade to clear it. Remove number 1 to use the 0.5, and we're gonna continue with the sideburn. After using the 0.5, close the blade to use number 0, and then at the end clear the rest with the trimmer. Stretch the scalp to use number 0. Use the border of the blade of the trimmer. Continue with the same procedure on the neck. Use the 0.5 and then close it to use number 0, and the rest on the bottom cut it with the trimmer. This way is easier blending the neck area. Now we're gonna continue with the right side. We're gonna use number 8 with a close blade, and we're gonna use the technique of trapping the hair with the finger to cut it with the clipper. This way is gonna be easier blending the hair on top with scissors. We're gonna use number 5 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 8. Use number 4 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 5. Use number 3 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 4. Use the border of the guard. Use number 2 with a close blade a bit lower than we used number 3 and only use the border of the guard. Clear the darker area with the border of the guard. This way we avoid making a line. Use the 1.5 with the hook a bit lower than we used number 2 and only use the border of the guard. Use number 1 with an open blade a bit lower than we used the 1.5 and start cutting from right to left, only clearing the darker areas. Use the border of the guard. Using this technique, you can avoid making a line. Use number 1 with a close blade a bit lower than we used it with an open blade and cut the rest of the hair. On the sideburn area, we're gonna use the 0.5 and we're only gonna use the corner of the blade. Then we're gonna close the blade to use number 0 and the rest of the hair on the bottom, cut it with the trimmer. We're gonna make the taper on the back. We're gonna close the blade to use number 1. Then remove number 1 to use the 0.5 and continue fading. Then close the blade to use number 0 and the rest of the hair on the bottom, cut it with the trimmer. We're gonna make the edges. We're gonna continue with the border of the blade of the trimmer. In this area, we're gonna reduce the rounded look. We're gonna make it a more square look. We can use number 4 guard. Here there's some shadow left. We can use number 4 and the technique trapping the hair with the finger to cut it with the clipper. This way the hair is gonna be blended in this area. We can make this area more square. We can use number 3. We're gonna shave the edges. We're gonna use the straight razor and the shaving cream. We're gonna start with the sideburn area. Don't put too much pressure so you don't make a line. Be careful in this sensitive area. In this area, we're only gonna open away and the rest we're gonna cut it going down. This way we avoid any ingrown hair or pimple on the client's neck. We are shaving without putting too much pressure on the skin. The top, we're gonna cut it with scissors. We're gonna use 3 fingers touching the scalp and we're gonna do the point cutting technique. This way we reduce the weight of the hair and also add texture. Continue cutting all the way to the back. We're gonna connect the guideline on the middle with the right side. Continue using the point cutting technique. Continue with the left side using the same technique. We are gonna connect the guideline on top with the first lateral section and the number 8 we used at the beginning of the cut. Adjust your finger to give it a square look. Continue cutting all the way to the back. Make the same procedure on the left side. We're gonna use the texturizing scissors. We're gonna make 3 cuts, one on top of the other on the top. Use the same technique using 3 fingers also on the right and the left side. We can clear this area a bit more. We're gonna use the texturizing scissors over comb going up. We're gonna start with the blow dry. We're gonna use a closed toothbrush to add volume. Comb the back to the front. Comb the front area going up. The rest of the hair comb it to the right. By combing the hair up, we can create volume on the front. This area we comb it to the back. In this case, we use cream with matte finish. We didn't make the line with the trimmer or the straight razor, but you can simulate it using the product. This is the final result. This was a fade with number 1 without using line and cutting the top with scissors. I hope you liked my video. Thanks for watching and see you next time. These are some of my previous videos. I invite you to watch them, and if you like them, hit the like button and subscribe.